Good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. My name's Claude Zdano. I'm the CEO of Onar, spelled O-N-A-R, but we pronounce it Onar. Quick background on me. I joined this company about 2.5 years ago and have been leading the company since. Before that, ran another marketing agency where we did about 8 leverage buyouts over a period of about 7 years. Built a company of almost 100 million in revenue. Before that, started a company in the music industry and helped work on projects that won 30 Grammy nominations, 22 awards. I also represented the Chainsmokers for part of my career. So I've had a pretty diverse, interesting entrepreneurial background, helping build brands and working and building companies. Today we're going to talk about Onar. It's a marketing and advertising network. We'll talk about what that means a little bit. We are in the process of completing our reverse merger. So we are publicly traded under the ticker RELT on OTCQB. And we are in the process of doing an application with FINRA to change that ticker to be ONAR, which we're hoping to be approved very near future. So without further ado, I'll skip the disclaimers and the forward-looking statements. But at a very high level, we buy and operate best-in-class marketing agencies that service middle-market companies. The other really big differentiator for us is AI and technology. So these companies that we're buying are technology-enabled businesses where they have large amounts of data. We can ingest that data, use AI and technology, and of course the experience of our team and the people that we're working with to create better performing marketing campaigns across all our service offerings. And of course, why it's important for us as a business is it makes our margins more effective and more efficient. So a little bit about us at a glance, right? As I mentioned, we're technology first, and we're a network of service companies. So our vision is to own and operate different companies. We own 100% of those businesses that are in different areas of marketing. I use the automotive analogy sometimes. Ford, for example. A customer might want a Ford F-150 for a farm or for construction. They also might want a Ford Mustang, right? Because it's fast car, sports car, right? They have 2 different offerings kind of pinned under the same brand. We look at our brand the same sort of way. The other thing, as we think about our business and where we're going, is what creates enterprise value. Huge thing for us is recurring nature of revenue. Most marketing service businesses are project-based. We are completely recurring-based, or almost completely. 90% of our revenue is recurring. 90% of that revenue is productized. So we operate almost like a software as a service business. So all the services we are providing, we know exactly what goes into doing them. We have a fixed fee that we charge the client for doing it, and we're able to bill them every single month on long-term contracts. So that's really a big part of our general approach. Of course, we're in all types of marketing, but digital is at the forefront of everything we're doing. And we talk about AI and technology, but just digital marketing as well. So 75% of our business in 2024 is digital. Currently, we have almost 50 employees. We're expecting by the end of 2025, we'll have over 100 employees in the business. We also believe by the end of 2025, we'll have 4 to 5 acquisitions completed. We have 2 that are currently under LOI right now that we plan to close in early Q1. And then the biggest thing about it is, people hear marketing and advertising and maybe don't quite understand how big of a world that is. Well, it's a $1.3 trillion addressable market when you take everything that we're looking at in terms of business. So let's talk about it. The company was founded in 2021 and built from the ground up, right, to be technology first. And of course, the biggest thing, deliver measurable results. In today's day and age, the CMO is no longer any different than the CSO, the Chief Sales Officer, right? Marketing needs to generate revenue, right? Marketing needs to lead to growing companies. They're one in one, hand in hand. So everything we do is about performance. How do we deliver performance through the services we provide? Our company Onar was originally named Integrum Worldwide when I joined. And it was started by 2 principal investment firms that invested in an existing marketing business and then brought me on and my experience, having run marketing companies before, having successfully rolled up marketing companies before, to lead the business going forwards. Of course, we've made 2 small acquisitions since inception. One we announced very recently, which is our healthcare marketing business. So while we had digital and we also have an experiential and events business, it was very important for us in the long run. We believe that healthcare is one of those industries that is not only highly regulated, but one that's going to be around and continue to grow into the future. Wellness is important to people. There's an energy drink company out here that was talking about having better ingredients for you, right? This is permeating everything we do. So we think healthcare is a pinnacle for the future of what we're doing. And we're basically leveraging that expertise of the healthcare agency we bought. It's called VMed. We've recently rebranded it as called Tuvcos. But we're leveraging that know-how and that understanding and the technology and kind of all the other things we're doing to kind of grow the business going forwards and build into those sectors. So we talked about the size of the market, which we'll dive in a little bit more, but this just give you a sense of who else is in the market, right? Literally $60 billion of marketing dollars every single year is spent with some of these very large companies that maybe some of you guys know, WPP, OMG, IPG, big, large stage, private, publicly traded companies. Stagwell, which is probably one of the more recent ones in the space, is already captured $2 billion of the market cap. And they don't even make up the majority of the dollars spent in advertising, marketing, digital, and AI, right? There's a tremendous amount of space in this market and one that we think we can actually capture a lot of. Now let's talk about where the growth is happening. We're talking a lot about artificial intelligence, right? So by 2026, artificial intelligence in our space specifically, in that 1.3 trillion, is going to be $50 billion part of the market. Digital transformation, which is a huge part of what we're doing, is using data and all that information and kind of taking kind of old school marketing tactics and kind of digitizing and bringing them to the future with artificial intelligence. $700 billion part of the marketing. And of course, digital marketing services continue to grow, and that's why digital is such a big part of what we're doing, $525 billion. So again, our model is platform light, tech first, and modular. So the company, because it was built from the ground up, we have 60% of our workforce international. We have no physical offices. We will operate a completely remote organization currently. And everything is designed to basically allow us to own, operate, and purchase independent marketing companies that are specifically designed to help create growth for middle market and growth stage companies. Our average customer is doing anywhere from $25 to $500 million in revenue. My previous firm, I worked with most of the Fortune 100. While it's great and exciting and sexy, what's reality is the middle market is underserved. The middle market companies that are growing are the ones that are not getting the same level of technology that exists and the same level of marketing that exists. And we're looking to solve for that. So a little bit more about us and our model. I've kind of talked a lot about it. Technology is the kind of tip of the spear for us. But the next thing beyond technology and not AI is our structure, our hub and spoke infrastructure. So we talk about roll-up, our platform at Onar, right? We are focused on, as we buy companies, we're centralizing services like finance, like SG&A that's specifically related to HR, insurance, all these other things that are bogging down the individual businesses and allow those businesses to run and themselves and get the benefit of being part of a larger company. By doing that, we see typically 5 to 15% efficiency in the businesses we acquire. And as we continue to acquire them, we'll continue to see those efficiencies scale and grow. The other thing I mentioned is we buy non-competitive subject matter expertise agency brands, right? So we want people to do one thing and one thing really well. Healthcare is an example of one thing. Paid advertising might be an example of one thing. PR could be an example of one thing. Billboards and out-of-home advertising could be an example of one thing. So we're looking to kind of buy these technology-enabled marketing companies that are highly specialized in a very specific area. And then, of course, I mentioned earlier, global team, right? We have a very global approach to this business, not just in servicing clients here, but also we want to service clients globally. So 60% of our workforce exists across 5 different continents. And that gives us a huge opportunity with not just having the best talent where the best talent actually is and lives, but also in addition to that, gives us the ability to have a really nice labor arbitrage cost versus what we might have to pay in certain cases in the US. So I talked a lot about artificial intelligence. I wanted to spend a little bit of time here specifically diving into how, or some examples of how we leverage artificial intelligence. This advertisement on the left, it's for a client, is completely artificial intelligence generated. From the copy to the imagery to everything that is in there. Now, maybe some of you have played with ChatGPT or some of the other things out there and you're like, oh yeah, it's cool, it's different. But the reality is we're now able to increase creative velocity and create work without having to do photo shoots and basically cut down the amount of time that we spend in the creative realm by 90+%, right? It's unheard of. What is happening right now in our space? And it's not replacing our job, it's making us more efficient. It's making us able to do things that otherwise we wouldn't be able to do and save money for our clients while creating bigger results. Other thing is about data visualization, right? We talked a little bit earlier about ingesting data. This chart on the bottom right is basically where we were able to take 3 different types of data and machine learning algorithms and visualize how that data looks to find white space in potential people we can advertise to. So it makes us be able to be much more efficient in terms of how we spend those dollars to meet the right people at the right time. Of course, there's things we're doing beyond that, website optimization. There's technology now that can do that for you that we're running. That's basically real-time artificial intelligence that basically drives website optimization. And then the other big thing is, and one of our big value propositions on why we're buying companies with large amounts of data that are technology enabled, is we have our own server-side language, large language modules that we are using and training on the data we have. And what that allows us to do, for example, when we're spending money for a client in the digital advertising space, we're able to, within a 10 to 15% level of accuracy, project what the dollars they will spend, what that will return for them in that space, which is something that is very difficult to do and has been a huge differentiator for us as a business. So this just gives you a kind of high level look. Again, just to talk about it, data, everyone talks about data. Again, we ingest this performance data, we clean it, we normalize it, and we structure it so that our AI tools can train off of it so we can do things better. And then of course, because of this AI, we're also able to basically concept, design, iterate, and optimize creative faster and better than ever before.
So can I interrupt you with a question?
Sure, go for it.
Are those people that you're hiring when you're saying go from 50 to 100 employees, is that creatives or salespeople, or who are those people?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So, people tend to think with artificial intelligence that it's just getting rid of jobs completely. The way I like to think of it is I use the architect as a great analogy. Years ago, you used to have draftsmen sitting in a room drafting stuff. Now, an architect can use AutoCAD and make or whatever tool they're using to basically design a whole thing, right? So we are hiring people still in the creative space, but ones who are the best in using technology and AI and creative. Ones who can use those tools and do what used to take 20 people to do, right? So we're hiring in that side. Data science is a big thing. So we have a full-time data science team that we invest heavily in because that's really a big differentiator and driver for us being able to deliver performance. Of course, client services is going to be part of that as we grow and add more clients. And then really all the kind of support things that go around that are specific to the type of service we're providing, right? That can be copywriters, right? People think that AI has replaced copywriting completely, but it hasn't, right? You still now can use it to get ideas and change, but you still need a human involved to do some of those sort of things. So these are our current 3 agencies and the different service offerings we have. So a lot of what I've talked about is driven by our kind of flagship marketing company, which is called Storia. It's a wholly owned subsidiary. Of Costs, as I mentioned, is our full service healthcare marketing company that was previously called VMed. And then we're doing some very interesting things in the experiential marketing space. My previous life, I was doing $5-10 million all immersive experiences. This is not what we're doing here. This is how do we leverage people and technology to do sampling better, to do trade shows better, to do high volume of stuff that's highly recurring, that delivers kind of touch points in the physical world for the brands and customers that we're working with. So some interesting facts about us and the different areas we work in. 90% client retention year over year. We have basically a 10% growth in average relationship of our top 5 customers. We have 50 plus historical customers. Again, this all goes into delivering performance, the structure of the organization, and really how we're focused on growing the business. These are just some of where our people are. I thought it was good when you talk about 60% international, et cetera. But in the US, we have a team in New York, Los Angeles, Nashville, and South Florida. And then we have kind of our international team between Europe, Central, and South America, and a little bit in India as well. So mergers and acquisitions. It's a key part of our strategy. Why is it a key part of our strategy? At the end of the day, we believe that we can buy businesses that have potential to grow and basically leverage our platform to grow those businesses faster and add accretive revenue and EBITDA to our business, right? For us, it's important to run profitable, growing businesses. And as a public company, we're more concerned about consistent growth and companies where we can kind of enact our own value to create that growth onto those businesses. So we talk about it. Being a public company, we can leverage equity to effectively support our model of buying and building agencies at lower multiples today, which means higher multiples for us and them in the future, right? Cost of capital is very high right now. It makes if you're selling your business, there used to be much higher multiples. Those multiples have been compressed. By us being able to come in and say, hey, we're a public business. You can be part of this ride, right? You're going to join in. You're going to get some stock in what we're doing, and you're going to be part of that and capture more turns on your multiple by being a shareholder in what we're doing. Creates a lot of long-term value that just doesn't exist. And this is a way that a lot of those big behemoths built themselves 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? This is what public markets were originally created to do, right? Is allow access to capital, allow the ability to kind of create wealth for those businesses growing in the public space. To get a little bit into the weeds, and you can ask me questions about it later, but how do we look at businesses? Our sweet spot of where we're buying is typically in the $1 to $3 million range. We have done deals smaller than that before. On average, though, if we're buying a company doing $1 to $3 million EBITDA, we're paying 5 to 6%, right? Maybe 40% of the deals up front, 25% earnout, 35% in stock. And by buying a few of those companies, when we're above $9, $10 million in EBITDA, we're instantly going to be worth 9 to 12 times, right? So there's a arbitrage opportunity in just bringing those businesses into what we're doing. We have done deals smaller and even acqui-hires, right? Again, we really believe that we want to find people who are doing the best and bring those agencies into our platform. And that's how we're going to create scale quickly to be able to grow our company and eventually kind of uplist to NASDAQ, which is what our long-term vision is in the next 24 months. Again, we're talking about acquiring companies narrowly specialized, right? So doing one thing really well, but then by bringing together in our ecosystem, we kind of have much more broad specialization, and as a group, we'll be much more all-encompassing and full service. Here's an example. I told you we have 2 LOIs that are signed and in the process of closing those transactions. Outside of them, these are just 4 examples of different companies we're looking at in different areas. So we have public relations, we have out-of-home advertising, which is billboards and even digital billboards, experiential agencies. So as you can see, each one of these businesses is profitable, right? We're only buying profitable businesses that we can bring in, and then we can then inject technology, inject all the things we're talking about to make those businesses better. So a little bit about financials of where the company is today and where it's going. So if you look here in 2025 with the 2 acquisitions we have, we're expecting to do $13.8 million in revenue with about $2.8 million in EBITDA. The company this year, 2024, is about $4.5 million without those acquisitions and is profitable. But of course, being a public company and all the expenses to get us public is a little bit of a drag on a smaller company. That's why we're making acquisitions, because we believe as we build this platform, we'll continue to be supported by those acquisitions as we grow the business. This is an example of what the business would look like next year if we did no acquisitions, just very kind of meat and potatoes growing. Now, still profitable, still has positive EBITDA, but isn't necessarily where we want to be, right? Our model is really focused on making these acquisitions and bringing businesses into what we're doing. Let's give you an example of those 2 acquisitions. If we did these 2 acquisitions that we have right now under LOI that we plan to close in Q1 and we do nothing else, and we can just maintain 10% growth year over year, by 2031 we'll be a $25 million business. Right? That's just a core business operating meat and potatoes if we don't change a thing. But of course, we want to do more than that. Part of the reason why we're here is we're finalizing everything that it takes to make us go public. And in Q1, we're going to be doing a Reg A financing. It's already being led by one of our main investors. One of our largest investors is a gentleman named Jeff Feinberg. He came from Feinberg Investments. Previously, he worked for Soros. He trades about $1 billion of his own money in the market any given day. He doesn't usually play in this space, but he likes marketing. He likes technology. He likes what we're doing, and he's invested in what we're doing. So he's leading our Reg A. He's already got $1.5 million into the business and is going to participate in the future of what we're doing. Just to give you a sense, if we're able to accomplish what we really want to do, which is basically buy in 2025, $25 million of revenue and continue increasing that by 25% year over year, by 2031, we'll be almost a $300 million revenue business, with $71 million in EBITDA. And that's where we're looking to go, and that's why we're building in public space. So I'm going to pause there. It's been about 20 minutes, and I know people talk for way long on this sort of stuff, but I wanted to open the room to have any questions about anything I went through.
Can you expand why you selected the healthcare segment as a first target to invest?
Yeah, so I'll give you, so this is, I can't tell you who it is, but one of our members who's going to be joining our board in Q1. Um, he's a mentor. And he's done this in the marketing space. To give you a sense, when he started building a marketing agency, he started with 13 employees. By the time he retired, it was 8,000 employees. In that, by the time when he sold this company, they were doing 1.24 billion in revenue. Today, his healthcare part of his business alone is doing 1.5 billion in revenue. It's been the fastest growing part of their business. And the reason for that is one, healthcare is incredibly complicated and regulated, right? Medicare, HIPAA compliance, all those sort of things. But we're all focused on it, right? What is wealth? It's health. And so there is more money in telemedicine and marketing going into all kinds of new age pharmaceutical drugs, procedures, anti-aging, wellness living. That's not going away. It's only going to continue to be a bigger forefront to the world. And so we really believe that we need to be heavily invested in healthcare and growing.
Back on that, because I also got a bit confused when you showed healthcare and then you showed all that. So you don't focus only in healthcare. You have all these other industries that you focus as well. Right?
Yeah, so we look at it as both vertical and horizontal, right? So in the sense of healthcare, it's not like e-commerce where you have all kinds of different products that you can be selling online. Healthcare is a real speciality. So we made a conscious decision to buy a business where they understood the ins and outs of healthcare and everything that goes with that, knowing that that business could benefit from the other tactical execution that we have at our other agencies, right? So we might have a digital marketing company that works with e-commerce brands, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be a healthcare company that also is selling stuff online, right? But we need that expertise and that understanding of healthcare to be able to go to them, because they're going to say, hey, what do you know about the regulations, what we can and can't do with our customer information, about HIPAA compliance, about Medicare? We need that credibility and that understanding to then basically permeate that to the other services we can offer from our other businesses.
And how does that tie into your pipeline of acquisitions? Is it healthcare focused or broad or?
So we're opportunistic. Healthcare, we definitely do two types of acquisitions. One would be tuck-ins, right? So what we look at a tuck-in is another healthcare company that we could buy into that healthcare to build more depth to that team. Or, right, we do new offerings, new service offerings. I can't tell you what they do, but another acquisition, one of the acquisitions we have is in the energy space. They're experts in communications and energy. So they don't do some of the other services we have, but they really own that. And we think energy is another space that's not going away, right? With AI and all the digital technology stuff, there is data centers and the access to energy is very important. And so there's a lot of investment in that area, and we think there's a lot of opportunity for growth to market in the energy area, in the energy industry.
So you're sector agnostic?
Yes. B2B and B2C as well.
I heard you say the word platform several times, but is it really a platform? Is it really just a conglomerate of sorts? Because it doesn't really, I can't really visualize. I know you have one slide about that, but is it possible to really have a platform and have like a SaaS model where you can not just buy a business, but sell services to businesses? Like, can you help me see where that is for you?
Yeah. So when I talk about platform at the Onar level, I'm talking about the platform that supports the individual businesses we own, right? So I'm talking about that. But in addition, I mentioned it earlier, when we look at the services we offer and we can do with technology, a lot of what we can do is automated, right? So I mentioned briefly how we're using AI to basically do real-time website optimization. So that's actually a service that we as a company can sell to a company or to other companies, right, to use in real time, right? So technology is kind of on the underpinning, and we're trying to get to as close to as a SaaS model as possible, but while we're still using people, right? We still are professional services. Any other questions?
One more. As part of what you're doing in this space, you're going to grow these companies potentially at multiples that can be 6.5 to 10 or more. Is your plan to potentially sell these entities in the future, or keep them growing and producing income for you?
Look, so for us, the long-term value is we want to be uplisting to NASDAQ in the next 24 months. We need to build the shareholder base. We need to build the awareness, and we want to make sure the fundamentals are there. We want to go to NASDAQ with a position of strength. And a big part of that is we want to create long-term shareholder value, not just for shareholders who invest in the company, but for employees, right? Every employee who works at the company has stock in the company. Every company we acquire, they have stock in the company, right? Everyone is vested in the long-term success of what we're doing. And so that's a big part of how we're trying to build. And we're running this company today like a NASDAQ company.
You run the QB market?
Yeah, OTCQB.
With more than 6,000 small and micro cap companies listed, if you're looking for the next Apple, then ChannelCheck truly is your trade. It's an investor community where you can access independent Wall Street research, advanced market data, balanced news, corporate videos, and podcasts. You can even register to attend in-person Meet the Management Series lunches, and to be part of the preeminent annual Small and Micro Cap Investor Conference, NobleCon. And here's the best news. Since ChannelCheck is sponsored by the featured companies, premium membership requires no investment. It's absolutely free. So check it out. Log in today. Find out why ChannelCheck is North America's leading source of research on the companies that just may change the world.